Hello everyone and welcome to our channel Careers Talk. My name is Sunan Sharma and I am an agile consultant based in Netherlands. And at Careers Talk, we invite industry experts from around the world to share their real experience with all of us. And today we are going to discuss agile project manager interview questions shared by our WhatsApp community members. And to help us, we are pleased to have Nilap with us after complete 1 year. Nilapa transitioned from being a senior scrum master at Wipro to the role of an agile project manager, and he previously held the position of Agile PM at PwC, and he is currently serving as a senior project manager at Marina Software. But friends, before we start, I have a small request. If you find this session helpful and want to support us, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our future episodes. All right, let's get started. Hello, Nilap, and thank you for joining us today. Nilap, over to you.
Thank you. I'm also excited and to be with you, Sunan. And hello to all friends out there. So quite a long time. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me again.
Yeah, okay. So friends, Nilaf has done one, I think, couple of session on matrices, and I will put the link in the description box. If you want, you can just go back and check those sessions also. Okay, so Nilaf, if we are ready, shall we start with our Q&A session?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm ready. Can
Okay. So the very first question is that you are the project manager for a software development company working on a critical and time-sensitive project. So the client has requested, frequent updates, and they want the ability to change requirement based on their evolving needs. So according to you, first of all, let's understand very basic question like what is a agile project management, and how would you apply its principles to ensure that the project success in this particular scenario? Nila, over to you.
okay. Thanks for this question. To answer this question, what is agile project management? I would like to start with contrasting it with the traditional project management. Traditional project management is the method which is mostly commonly used today, but it relies on centralized decision making and control with a structured hierarchical organization. So, traditional project management works well for projects where the scope, time, and cost can be clearly defined upfront, such as any infrastructure project, any kind of project, you name it. However, in today's fast-moving business environment, uh, many projects involve a lot of unknowns and uncertainties. As we talked about the VUCA climate, VUCA. So it's often impractical to document all requirements at the start of the project due to rapid pace of economic and market changes, the dynamism of the market, and the various customer needs changing all where. So as development progresses, I'm talking about SDLC, customers often realize that their initial needs differ from what they requested and leading to costly delays, budget overruns, and many more things. So, agile project management comes here. It addresses these challenges by embracing continuous change, as I said, and also encouraging feedback, which also enables learning throughout the project. So instead of trying to define everything upfront, agile methods are there which enable to adapt to evolving requirements and incorporate feedback, as I said now. So as the project unfolds. So this approach helps manage the uncertainty and keeps projects on track despite various changes or rapid changes. So an approach that deals with the reality of continuous change or which incorporates discovery rather and learning throughout the project lifecycle must be utilized instead. So that is why this approach, that is agile project management, is being uh, used. So here I would like to say that introducing agility into project doesn't mean that you have to throw your own conventional or current process. Instead, it means improving how you handle projects by adding some new techniques. So Agile talks about technology also. So Agile project management is a better way to handle situations where you might not be sure exactly what you want or need until you see it, have a feel of it. It builds on traditional project management methods, but as I said, it builds on traditional project management methods, but adapts them to the agile approach. So we can talk about what is agile approach. Friends out there know what is an agile approach. So here's how it talks. Agile project management involves working closely with customers and making changes as needed. So it's more customer centric. So instead of having a rigid plan upfront from start to finish, Agile uses a very flexible approach with frequent updates and adjustments. This means you work in short cycles, that is called iterations, where you regularly develop parts of the project and get the feedback. So this loop goes on. That is mainly what we call as an empirical process. By doing this, the project team can better handle uncertainties, as I said earlier, and changes in scope, business needs, as the economy goes. This iterative process helps ensure that the project stays on track and meets the evolving needs of everyone. So, I would like to remember that POM book, uh, mainly I think in the second edition or third edition, has given 6 principles of agile project management. Everybody knows what POM book is. So, it says close iteration between the customer or user and developers, where the project scope must be allowed to be variable with each project iteration accomplished within a specified time and cost framework. The customer involved is involved in each step in the process, and customer is the final decision maker. The customer in the conjunction with the project team can initiate a change in the project direction at the end of the iteration based on what has been learned from the previous iterations. And they have the complete discretion to also cancel the changes gone or deployed. The adjustments are continuous. Fine tuning the project goes to deliver maximum customer value. That is why the representative from the customer is the product owner, which is part of the agile team. When we talk about roles and responsibilities, we can talk about product owner. That's a different thing altogether. Second point, which Palm book says, less time dedicated to planning at beginning of the project. Planning with agile techniques. This is the second point. Less time dedicated to planning, because mostly agile talks about adaptive planning. So planning with agile techniques means planning for uncertainty. Acknowledging the plan is merely a plan, not a uh, prescription. I mean, you have to abide. It's not a gospel. Okay, so less time is spent on planning at the beginning of the project because the project is expected to unfold in a series iterations, each iteration adding a set of features to the final product or knowledge of the product team. And and just to conclude, agile planning incorporates selected tools and processes. Okay, so this goes the second point. Third point, which Palm book says, smaller teams, more highly skilled team members. That is the cross-functional team, which I think we know what a cross-functional team is. Agile project teams work better as small groups or dedicated resources, intensely focused on the activities needed to accomplish the goals. So, co-location of all project team members, including the project manager, it talks about. But ever since the pandemic struck, we know we are working in a virtual world. Remote teams are being also introduced, and we know how to handle remote teams. That again, a different topic altogether. So next point, which Palm book says, delayed decision making. Now, this is the catch. I think in many forums we don't talk about delayed decision making, or we don't normally, I think we shy out to utter delayed decision making. Decisions should be delayed as late as possible in agile projects. Why? I have case studies. We can again discuss on that, to only to remove risks associated with making a decision, because any early decision has its own package of risks coming with it. So this might seem contrary to the principles of agility. Yet, when you think about and how it comes about, you see that it is often related to a premature decision which has happened in past, and it has brought its own package. So this is the fourth. Sorry, adaptive leadership. Adaptive planning leads to adaptive leadership. The problems being addressed by project management currently are almost adaptive problems. that needs to be fixed. I mean, problems are upfront. You never know, as I talked about VUCA climate. So what is going to come? So the time has come when we need to admit that we, I mean, the project managers or program managers or business owners, change owners, customers, clients, architects, designers, and stakeholders. That's why I said we do not know the solutions of the problem because we don't know the problem as such also. An adaptive style of project management embodies the work of energizing and enabling, empowering the project team along with the project manager. So the project, and here the project manager has to change his gears from little bit of management to leadership because as I talked about adaptive leadership, it is a leadership trait. So it supports continuous learning about what the project activities are bringing in. So while remaining adaptive to the changes. And finally, Pombook talks about elimination of waste, which is a lean principle. Activities that don't contribute value should be eliminated. So actually, lean is the mother of everything. So agile project management borrows this concept of waste elimination from lean manufacturing concepts. The project team should question any activity that does not contribute directly to the value of the end product. And and this is agility, the freedom to question. They can undertake activities just because it's always been done. That doesn't mean that they have to do the mundane work, especially reports and other forms of documentations, collaboration meetings, or number of meetings. Most importantly, they should design and build quality into products. Value end of the day matters. So anything emergent is welcome. So as I said, that they should design and build quality into products as they are produced, not tested in after the fact. So this is all about agile project management. I think I briefed it in a very condensed manner. Uh, Over to you, Sunil.
Yeah. Thanks, Nilap. I would say elaborated, but not a contest. So thank you for that, Nilap. Okay, let's move on. So next question is, let's say your organization is adopting agile methodologies across all the teams, and your senior management ask you to help in clarify the difference between a agile project management and agile product development. So we have already seen agile project management, we have just explained, but sometimes these both the terms are being used interchangeably and cause confusion. So how would you differentiate between agile project management and agile product development in this particular context? And if you can give some examples also to highlight the distinction, that will be great, Nila.
Okay, definitely this is a tricky question because there are various schools of thoughts and they have their own concepts. So as you helped me by citing some examples. So so I would like to share exactly what I've learned so far. Uh, okay, coming down to the answer, agile project management focuses mainly on the overall management of the project, as it says. I mean, literal meaning. Whereas agile product development, on the other hand, focuses on the engineering activities associated with the project or the project's product. Okay, sorry. Agile product development talks about product. So let me phrase it like this, that it focuses on the engineering activities associated to make the project's product, be it software product, be it an pharmaceutical product, be it an automotive product, be it an aeroplane or anything. So agility uh, uh, is equally important in these activities since without a sense of fast movement when development the product would be bogged down. So that is why we are adapting agile methodologies and we're naming it as agile product development. I'll try to compare apple to apple. Like suppose in agile project management, say be it focus. Talk about the focus, that what is the core. In agile project management, so far focus is concerned, it's about the overall approach and the methodology used to manage and guide the projects. It emphasizes flexibility, iterative progress, adaptive planning, which I just talked about, emergent architecture, and continuous improvement throughout the project lifecycle. So that is the focus. Now, if we go to agile product development, what is focus? Focus is concerned with the creation and enhancement of the product itself. It focuses on how to develop the product efficiently, of course, and effectively while responding to the user feedbacks. And user feedback is because of the market changes. So here comes the empiricism. Okay, that there is a feedback loop. So the focus is on the feedback mainly. Now let's come to the objective. When we talk about agile project management, the goal is to manage how the project is executed, ensuring that it adapts to changes. Changes means the feedback which I just talked about. So the application of that change, that is adapting to the change, is the objective of the project management, agile project management. It stays on track, doesn't get derailed, and meets stakeholder needs. It involves planning, of course, agile planning. Agile planning is, of course, another topic. Uh, we know agile planning, tracking progress, monitoring. Now, monitoring, be it we apply EVM or be it we apply matrices, it depends, and or we amalgamate both. It depends. As I said, different school of thoughts have got different ideas, but monitoring and adjusting courses as needed. So, so there is one predictability angle also here to the objective. So that is why we talk about velocity, burn down, etc., etc., and then adapting. Objective in case of agile product development, the goal is to produce that product meets customer needs and adapts to feedback always. So I will keep on saying adapting to the feedback every time. So it involves developing, testing, and refining the product through iterative cycles. So it's a loop. I'll not say a cycle, but it's a loop which always the product development goes through. Project scope in case of agile project management, it encompasses the strategies and processes used to oversee the project, including whatever the processes are in project management, scheduling, team collaboration, resource management, risk management, uh, communication management, etc., etc. So I will not talk about in detail. Scope in case of agile product development, it deals with product features, uh, design, of course, then features, functionality, and user experience. So now the features comes from vertical sizing, story making. So it deals with that. Everybody can take that hint. I will not go deep. The emphasis is on delivering a usable product. So as we know that the atomic part of this feature is the story, which is ultimately if we follow the invest criteria, we know testable story. So that is a usable chunk of software. So and improving it based on the feedback. Now the final part, which is called approach. Agile project management uses frameworks like Scrum, Kanban, XP, or Scrumban, scaled agile frameworks. So it focuses on breaking the project in manageable pieces, delivering work in short cycles, and regularly reviewing, adjusting plans. So I'll not go to discuss about the frameworks, but this is the approach. Now, approach of agile product development is just same, adopting to this frameworks processes. I'll not go deep. So the key difference here, as I said, that agile project management uses frameworks to manage and track projects. Agile product development involves practices and techniques to develop and improve the product lifecycle. So I have few examples also. Uh, like if I remember, uh, I was developing a mobile app. So let's consider development of this new. Yes, yes. To highlight the difference between agile project management and agile product development using the same case scenario. I will not. Uh, I was thinking to give different examples, but let us take one example, that is making this mobile app, and this mobile app was for some fitness tracking. So we'll explore how each approach would handle various aspects of the project, because overall preparing this mobile app is the product, but preparing it is the project. So I will again talk about the scope and objectives. Agile project management approach focus ensures the mobile app is developed with a specific time frame, budget and resource. I would not only say resource, rather resource constraints. When I talk about resource, we talk about human resource. We also talk about tangible technical resources or anything else. So the primary concern is managing the project efficiently. Now, in the same thing, focuses when I talk about product development, agile product development, that focuses on developing and refining the mobile app based on the user feedback. So I think you are getting the difference and the market demands. So the primary concern is creating a product that meets user needs and expectation. So ultimately, the agile project management is the cause and effect, and product development is the outcome. Okay. So the objective here for agile project management is deliver the app on time. As I said, the new mobile app for fitness tracking, meeting the emergent requirements and define milestones. I would now like to quote meeting the emergent requirements. Now, where the emergent requirements are coming? The emergent requirements are coming from the objective of the agile product development. Okay, which is nothing but to continuously improve the app through iterative development, ensuring that it delivers value to the user. You know, whoever using this app. Okay, so now I'll not take much time. Uh, let's talk about the team team part. Agile project management talks about team coordination. Product development talks about team collaboration. Team, what is team coordination? Because it coordinates between development teams, designing teams, DevOps teams, compliance teams, change management teams, QA teams. So the manager ensures that each team is meeting its deadlines and that the project stays on the track. So the agile project management or the manager resolves any cross-team dependencies or conflict. Now coming down to the team collaboration, which is agile product development. The team consists of PO, Scrum Master, UX, UI designers, developers, testers. Basically, it's a self-managed cross-functional team who work closely together. So they focus on understanding user needs, designing, take decisions. They're autonomous in nature, take user-centric features and testing. So this is the difference. Now, now let's talk about two things. Change management is a project management term, but adaptability is the product development. So change management deals with agile project management. It handles changes in scope of requirements by updating the project plan, adjusting timelines, addressing to the CEB, etc., etc. Changes are accessed for their impact on the project schedule. They do the impact analysis, etc., etc. Same thing. Now go to the granular side. The product development talks about responding to the changes in user feedback by iterating on the apps, the mobile app. The development process is flexible, allowing the team to pivot, make adjustments based on new insights. Okay, so these are the basic trends. If I keep on if saying there are many aspects. We can talk about planning and execution. We can talk about iterative planning, but these are the basic difference what I think of agile project management and agile product development.
Okay.
Yeah, over to you, Sunil.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Nila, for that elaborated answer. Okay. Great. Let's move on. So the next question is on your past experience. So if you can share any specific project that failed under your leadership, so you can share that experience. That what are the key factors that contribute to that failure, and what are the important lesson learned from that experience? So yeah, over to you, Nila.
Well, people, I am also reluctant to talk about my failures, but uh, uh, why should I? Talking on a very humorous angle because we always talk about our success. I have done this, I have done that, but this is important because failures bring lessons. Success doesn't. Success bring uh, a feel, but failures bring lessons learned. Okay, so now coming down to the question. Okay, now a few words for the viewers. Uh, uh, Mainly, le- please identify or please try to understand why this question or this type of questions related to failure is being asked. The purpose of asking this question by the interviewer is to are you open to talk about and are you resilient and adaptable? That also they want to know. And overall, above all, acceptance. Are you accepting if you have failed or not? So these are basically human traits, and these are needed for any project manager nowadays, or program manager nowadays. Uh, Unless and until we nurture these kind of traits, it's very difficult to sustain. So now coming direct to the answer. Sorry. Yeah, as I was saying, throughout my career, I have experienced a very balance of both project success and failures. Reflecting on these experiences, I would say that uh, I have identified several recurring issues that often lead to project setbacks. Basically, they are from poor requirement gathering, insufficient uh, user involvement, uh, quality assurance problems, mainly related to inadequate testing, and and mainly it is because of ineffective communication, ineffective stakeholder communication. Because mm, even if I talk about requirement gathering, or be it anything, it comes to a communication, to and fro communication. So if that is not effective, there is a likely chance of a project failure. However, uh, I remember one project stands distinctly in my memory. If I, it's very recent past. But this particular failure was primarily due to a significant accumulation of technical debt. Huge amount of technical debts got piled up. The project suffered, and as I said, the project suffered from a growing amount of unresolved technical issues. And our inability, when I talk about our main leads, my inability to properly identify, assess, and address the risks associated with this debt, which ultimately led to the collapse. So the experience highlighted the critical importance of managing technical debt and proactively addressing risks to ensure project success. So it was recently, recently means couple of years, we were making a smart home energy management system, which was on, which is basically an IoT project designed to help multiple homeowners monitor and optimize their energy usage. And the client was one of the power companies based out of Nordic region. I cannot name the company. Uh, Nordic region is, these are very high cold regions. I mean, extreme cold conditions prevail there. So that the energy company was has given us a project to understand and optimize their energy usage. So as it goes, the system integrates various smart devices, sensors to provide real-time data, automate energy saving actions, offer insights into energy consumption patterns. So it was a holistic project with us. So uh, we are about to use some machine learning algorithms to figure out the pattern. Okay. Uh, when we started the project, we didn't anticipate certain technical changes, and as I said, huge amount of technical debt got piled up. So to name a few, I would like to also share what were the nature of the technical debts. The nature of the technical debts were mostly legacy code issues, poor EDA, exploratory data analysis, uh, scalability, hard, hard coded values. Okay, hard coding is always a risk, so we did not think of that. And as I said, suboptimal algorithms. So when when we talk about machine learning projects, you have to be very much meticulous in choosing your algorithms. So, using inefficient algorithms for data processing or device control leads to performance bottlenecks. So that happened, especially as the number of devices or data volume increases, from a benchmark level to quite a huge level. So that happens. So skipping comprehensive testing also one of the uh, reason for technical debts, especially for edge case or integration scenarios. So these were the natures of the technical debts. So which so it kept on accumulating. I've not gone in detail. There are many things I can make a 10-pager case study out of it. But this led to delays and budget overruns. So what I learned, that is important. I learned the importance of thorough risk assessment and contingency planning. I would like to again highlight contingency planning. I now always include a detailed risk management plan in my projects, ensuring potential issues are identified and mitigated, especially when you are dealing with data science and AI projects. So most significantly now, it is obviously very important to understand the size and the scale of any technical debt. Of course, size, and if it can amplify itself. So you need to understand the scale of any technical debt which has been incurred. And the incurring of technical debt is a development team decision. It is not one which the product owner is going to take, or any of the stakeholders are not necessarily franchised to take the ownership of your technical debt. It is always the project manager and the development team's decision to identify and declare it as a technical debt. So this is also one of my learning. Furthermore, this must be accounted for on the product backlog, irrespective where the technical debt itself is recorded. Because what we did do normally, we maintain another register or we maintain another complete cadence to address these technical debts. But my learning was that it has to be accounted in your main product backlog list, exhaustive product backlog list. So the product backlog must show in its entirely how much work is believed to remain before the product is complete. In other words, the amount of technical debt which has been uh, occurred must be shown on the uh, product backlog, even in a very described manner that this is a debt and this may cause havoc. So, such as on technical debt register, you do that. But I've seen we are not doing the technical debt register maintenance also. So the team should avoid quantifying technical debt on the register itself, as this would lead to scattered views. As I said, many people will come on and give their views. So these were my learnings, okay, in a nutshell. Uh, Sunil.
Okay, thank you for that, Nila. Okay. Okay, Nilab. So let's move on to the next question.
Yeah.
So next question is, let's say you are leading a team transitioning from a traditional waterfall approach to an agile way of working, and your team members are struggling with all these new practices, all these iterative development and self-organizing principles and so on. So what was your greatest challenge when adapting to this agile approaches, in this kind of scenarios? And most importantly, how did you overcome all these challenges, Nila?
Okay. Okay. What I remember, one of the biggest challenges in transitioning or implementing Agile is accepting that your team might fail initially. I just talked about this. I will immediately come down to self-organizing principles and iterative development. But I want to share this with also with the viewers that early on, it's very common for teams to experience failures as they set expectations, align estimates, and establish their work. So not every planned task will be completed by the end of the sprint. So this is basically failure is. So this can be particularly tough to get buy-in for stakeholders from the stakeholders, mainly who are more focused on profit. So especially those who have significant influence. I mean, I'm talking about stakeholders. So here, as a project manager, always my role was not to prevent failure, but to support and explain how these failures can lead to greater success in future iterations of sprints. But it can be difficult to convince stakeholders, as I said, that experiencing and addressing small failures early uh, uh, on is beneficial further. So identifying and fixing issues early prevents them from going into major problems that could jeopardize the project. So you need to convince. That's a tough, very, very tough task. So the Agile framework offers several methods to detect and address small issues before they escalate. So in Agile development, encountering early failure is actually a positive outcome. Since your question talks about highlights the challenges with iterative development and self-organizing principles, I'll focus on those areas in my explanation. I'll also provide some examples. Now let's talk about iterative development challenges. So if I'm not wrong, challenges possibly related to this iterative development mainly fall in three categories. First is understanding the iteration. Many people don't understand. The teams may struggle with the concept of iterative development, where work is done in small incremental steps rather than completing the entire project in it. So understanding problem is one of the challenges. Second is managing expectations. Now again comes the stakeholders. Stakeholders are very much accustomed to seeing a fully complete product end of the long cycle. So they may find it challenging to understand the value of partial deliveries and incremental progress. So that means their expectations are something else, and you have not worked, you have not managed that expectation. This is the second category of challenge. Third is continuous feedback. That means you have to implement that process, implement continuous feedback loops, which can be literally difficult, but you have to do that as a project manager, especially if the team is not used to regular stakeholder involvement or client. So these are the three types of challenges which I have faced mainly into iterative development. So overcoming the challenges uh, in iterative development during a transition from waterfall to agile, and it only comes while in a transition. It requires a very, very strategic approach. Okay, mainly focusing on the key areas. Few key areas are there. Like as I said, understanding the iteration. So how will you help the team that is struggling on conceptualizing the iterative development, where work is done in small incremental steps? The solutions is training and education. I'll not go how to do and do the training. Workshops and simulations, which is part of the training and education. Conduct workshops, simulations, demonstrate how iterative development are being carried out, works in practice, give real life examples, share case studies, examples. Okay. Second comes managing expectations. Stakeholders are accustomed to seeing a fully complete product. So now, how will you bring the solution? Educating and communicating. Educating a stakeholder is a Herculean task, I know, in today's. But how will you educate? Better to communicate. So educate stakeholders about the agile approach, emphasize how iterative development leads to higher quality of value, rendering value, more relevant products. And when you are communicating with the stakeholders, give them transparent roadmaps, give them very, very crystal roadmaps. Develop a transparent product roadmap that outlines the iterative process. I repeat, develop a transparent product roadmap that outlines the iterative process and clearly communicates what stakeholders can expect at each stage. So when you have that document with you, you can refer it anytime and give them regular updates based on this transparent roadmap. Provide regular updates and demonstrations. That's and another is iteration planning. Okay, the next category of solution is sprint planning meetings, backlog management meetings, estimation techniques. Use proper estimation techniques. That is planning poker, t-shirt sizing, whatever. As I talked about backlog management, maintain a well-organized product backlog. Give your acceptance criteria properly. Prepare your DOR. Keep DODs in each and every story. So that means you need to regularly refine and prioritize based on stakeholder needs. So that is very much important. If you do that, the team will automatically understand and again adapt into change. Okay, so change management is very much important. Nowadays, I have seen this lack of change management practices is the cause of many challenges. So implement a change management practice to help items to get into uh, that particular deck, be it a board, be it a tool, or whatever, and to help teams and stakeholders adapt to changes and understand the benefits of that adjustment, whatever. So that is one of the solutions. And maintain this momentum and set clear goals, clear and small goals. Define the goal, objective for each iteration, maintain the focus and motivation. And one thing very much important, which is a part of agile project management, that is you need to celebrate your success, recognize and celebrate achievements and milestones reached during each iteration. So these are the solutions for the challenges. Next, you talked about self-organizing teams, principles related to self-organization. So here I would say the challenges again come into two or three categories. That is, first is role clarity. When you give autonomy to a team, the teams might struggle with defining roles internally and responsibilities in a self-organizing environment because they are very accustomed with the hierarchical structures. So they struggle with. Next comes the challenge, decision making. So you need to empower them to take decisions. So independently taking decisions can be challenging if the team members are used to having decisions made by the management. And role clarity, decisions making, what it demands accountability. So in today's world, nobody is willing to be held accountable. So that is the biggest challenge. Ensuring accountability and maintaining a sense of ownership can be difficult with roles and tasks which are very fluid. Okay. So teams accustomed to hierarchical structures may struggle with the shift to self-organization when you are in a transition phase. When decisions are made collaboratively, team members take more responsibility. So as I talked about, the solutions lies in the problem itself. Define roles, clearly define roles with the team, from starting from the scrum master, product owner, to establish a framework. Create a collaborative culture. Allow the team to collaborate rather than get rid of the blame culture and refine the roles and regular check-ins. Be it a work or be it your rundown, be it or anything. Schedule regular uh, check-ins. Be through a retrospective to discuss and adjust roles and responsibilities. And as I said, decision-making framework, implementing a clear decision-making framework and delegate authority. I mean, inside the team, if you're a manager, gradually delegate decision making authority to the team. This command and control or micromanagement is the spoil sport everywhere. So you have to delegate, starting with lower impact decisions and get down to proper conflict resolution approach. Here, the team is looking forward to you for conflicts. So provide training or you get down, encourage open communication. Okay. So these are the solutions to name a few. Suran.
Wonderful, Nilap. Again, thank you for that elaborated answer. Okay. Okay, let's move on. So the next question is, let's say you are working on a complex project with multiple stakeholders, and there are frequent changes in the requirements, and the client want to ensure that every change is being documented and traceable back to the original requirement. So, what is traceability in project management, and how would you implement it in this kind of scenarios? To ensure that all the changes are properly tracked and aligned with the project goal. Nila.
Okay. Uh, it's a very straightforward question. In project management, traceability refers to the ability to track and link project elements rather throughout the life cycle of the project. So when I talk about project elements, we may say artifacts, so which include maintaining a clear connection between various project artifacts such as requirements, design, architecture, development documents, testing philosophy, test results. So ensuring that each stage aligns with project goals and requirements, and that is basically called traceability. If I am not wrong, I don't know the exact definition, but this is what traceability is. What it brings, what benefits we get from traceability is the important thing. Traceability ensures compliance. If you are into pharma sector, if you're into nuclear sector, if you're into defense sector, railways, or even airline, aviation, these are all compliance specific projects if you are running. So this helps, traceability helps in demonstrating that project deliverables meet regulatory and contractual compliance. Okay. And I just talked about change management. Traceability facilitates change management. It make it is make it makes easier. I mean the impact of changes and updates on requirements. If you are facing a change board, it makes your life easy. So when you are facing a change board, and as you know that it improves accountability. It provides a very clear record of how requirements are fulfilled throughout a project life cycle. It improves transparency, and quality is of course added end of the day. It helps in validating that all requirements are met. I talked about test philosophy, test results, so the final product aligns with the original goal. That ensures traceability ensures, and it is nothing but communication. So it provides a clear reference for project stakeholders. If you go through any traceability document, the stakeholder can understand, he can have or she can have the entire contour of the project management, ensuring that everyone is aligned with project's objectives and deliverables. So now, as we are talking agile project management, in an agile project with multiple stakeholders, as you said, with frequent changes coming, implementing traceability can be challenging. Yes, to effective to effectively implement traceability, you should follow some essential steps. Okay, what I can bring from my own experience. So this approach involves understanding the complexities of agile methodologies and then adapting or tailoring them in accordance with the established project management principles. Okay, so uh, I took it as a very ideal scenario. So, so what are the steps? Define clear requirements and objectives is the first step. That means start with a well-defined product backlog. You have to have an initial exhaustive backlog that captures high-level requirements and objectives. And as a project manager, you need to ensure that each item in the backlog is very clear, actionable, and are linked to the overall project goals. How it is being linked, it has to be also documented. So now, inside that exhaustive backlog, what it contains? It contains user stories. And what user story contains? User story contains acceptance criteria. So now you have to have user stories that is nothing but vertically sliced features, break down requirements into user stories with specific acceptance criteria. These provide um, this provides a very basis for tracking how each requirement will be fulfilled. Because we know user stories are, I mean, they are children to parent epics or features. I will not go into the Zira and all, but we know that. So now to keep traceability, you need to have a tool, agile tool or tracking system. So I talked about Jira. So implement a tool like Jira, Trello, Azure DevOps, track user stories, track bugs, tasks, and then these tools provide features for linking issues. You can link. I know the linking part in Jira. I enjoy that. Okay, so it will lead to create a traceability matrix. Now, a traceability matrix I will share. And I think we can have a session where I can share some templates, uh, or I can visualize. I mean, let uh, audience visualize how it looks, how a status of requirement looks. So that is important. And as I talked about tool, person control systems. What you are making a software. So utilize person control systems, and universality is Git to track changes in code and documentation. So this helps in tracing how changes in code base relate to specific requirements or user stories. And you can now, Jira has its own plugins to link Git. So there comes. So, and regularly update and review the backlog which I talked about. That means you need a very periodic backlog refinement cadence. Continuously refine the backlog during sprint planning or before the sprint planning. Ensure that changes are documented and requirements are updated to reflect current priorities and the stakeholder feedbacks. The team is well appraised. And when the sprint is done, conduct sprint review mandatorily and document it. So access whether completed work meets the acceptance criteria, aligns with the original requirements. So these are the very basic agile practices which you have to do to have traceability. To implement traceability practices, link requirements to deliverables, maintain a traceability matrix. I just talked about traceability matrix. We can have another session. And engage stakeholders regularly, frequent communications, and to gather feedback and align to changes. Don't create a silo. This ensures that stakeholders are kept informed and involved. Okay, they need to feel that we are involved. Okay, so you have to ensure. And I will slightly talk about CI/CD also, continuous integration and testing. Automate your testing, implement automated testing to continuously verify that changes are made. And integration checks. Regularly integrate and test new changes to ensure that they align with the overall project goals. So here also I need to talk about the environment. You need to have a very healthy environment. So it will be technical, but these are the basic steps to have traceability. There's nothing new in Sunil.
Okay, thank you, Nilap, for that elaborated answer. Okay, so Nilab, I think we are good for this session because I guess it's almost 40 to 50 minutes for this session already, and we are at question number 5. Friends, we have a lot of other questions also lined up, so maybe we'll cover in a different session with Nilab. So Nilab, thank you for being with us today and sharing your knowledge. And friends, if you enjoyed today's session, this elaborated session, don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for more. And until next time, take care. Bye. And thank you, Nilab, one more time, Nilab.
Thank you, Sunil. Pleasure is mine.